This is the Nightshade Cult, a podcast macabre.
We bid you welcome. Enter freely and of your own will.
I'm Nick Grimm.
And I'm David Graves.
And we'll be your horror host for this dissection of Gary Dauberman's 2024 gothic horror, Salem's Lot.
Good evening.
We just can't get enough of this,
Yes.
of Jerusalem's Lot, the little sleepy town.
Yeah.
It's got its hooks in us. And
Part due.
And we went right back to it.
Yeah, this was an on-the-spot decision to do Salem's Lot again because we did the original Salem's Lot movie.
Yeah.
And this is the modern remake.
Yeah, and this just came out last year and came out in October of 2024, went direct to HBO Max, or
Yeah.
it was just called Max then. Now we're HBO Max again.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a theatrical release originally, so it had a pretty high budget, but then it just went straight to Max.
Yeah, it's, there was even some talk that maybe this would get flushed, like Warner Brothers, tanked a few movies and just took tax write-offs on them.
Okay.
And there was some talk that this might be one of them, and so they kind of, I think, were feeling lucky that they even got the HBO Max release.
Jeez. I mean, yeah, that seems crazy. Normally when you think of a direct to, COVID notwithstanding, direct to video, direct to streaming releases, you think that they're going to be kind of like low rent. But this felt like a big budget movie.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a movie they planned on releasing in theaters.
Yeah.
I just think when it came out was just a couple months ahead of Nosferatu, and all of the buzz was on Nosferatu. Like, that was really...
I mean, Nosferatu's way better.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, not to...
They're not even in the same category.
Except for that there is a Nosferatu.
Yeah.
In this
I mean,
movie.
they have a Nosferatu. It's a vampire movie, etc. But it's like Nosferatu is like a masterpiece horror movie, and this kind of feels like a book remake. A little bit of Goonies DNA in there.
Goonies DNA, sure, yeah. It's very interesting to go from the 1979 version to this one, and sort of like what stays and what goes and like what gets modernized. I thought it was an interesting watch. I liked it more than I expected to based on what I had heard about it.
Yeah, they diversified the cast a fair bit, and they made it modern pacing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have that slow 70s unwind like old movies do. It just kind of gets right to it.
It does really get down to business.
And you don't really get introduced to a lot of the side characters. A lot of them basically are just very much a bit piece.
Yeah, like characters
They're
are just
almost nothing.
either just mentioned in passing or not mentioned at all.
Yeah, like a guy is snide to Ben is the name. Ben Mears, right? Yeah, snide to him, and then the teacher's like, "Oh yeah, he's sweet on her." Blah, blah, blah.
That's Floyd Tidwell or whatever his name is.
So it's just a bit part, whereas it was like a whole thing in the previous movie.
Yeah, I kind of wish, and maybe this is getting too far ahead of us, that instead of Ben fighting Mike outside of the church, that he fought Floyd there.
Yeah.
Especially since they cast Floyd and everything, and Floyd does get turned into a vampire.
Spoilers, almost everyone's a vampire in this movie.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah. We just did a whole episode on this story, and very little has changed.
Yeah,
so
almost
double spoilers.
Yeah, almost nothing has changed. But you should keep listening to this episode because it's a very different movie.
Oh, yeah. Very, very different.
It's not really like it definitely, this felt like a modern movie versus like the old one felt like watching Jaws.
Yeah.
It just...
But not as good as Jaws.
No, not as good as Jaws. I mean, it was a 3-star movie. If you're into vampire movies, watch Salem's Lot.
You should watch that.
Especially if you're into modern good vampire movies, because it has a lot of Salem's Lot DNA in there.
Yeah. No, I thought while I was kind of coming up with our hashtags and stuff to promote our last Salem's Lot episode, I kept seeing clips from this one, and I was thinking like, well, that looks pretty cool. I like that vampire.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I like the glowing crosses. Like, I like a lot of the imagery of this. I go, this looks like a really cool adaptation of that book. So we just slotted it into the schedule.
Yeah, I'd never seen Salem's Lot previously. Of course, I'd never seen this remake of the book adaptation. I don't know if you call it a remake. It's just a new adaptation of the same source material. I guess that's where you draw the difference. If the original material was a movie, or if the original material was a book.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a new adaptation instead of a remake.
And it has You can't really say that it's wholly new because they kept with the ugly vampire idea, which isn't from the book.
Yeah, they made that same choice to make him a Nosferatu type vampire, bald and fangy.
Yeah, and it was a really good choice, I think. It was pretty cool.
It makes him distinct instead of being a Dracula clone.
He talks though, so I like that.
Yeah, seeing him talk, I think he could have talked in the other movie. He probably didn't need Straker to talk for him. It worked really well when he talked.
Yeah.
So before we get too deep into this, why don't we just roll the music into our synopsis? An author returns to his hometown in search of inspiration for his next book and discovers that the town is being taken over by a powerful vampire.
Yeah, that's it. It's very simple.
It is
typical Stephen King plot.
It's more simple. Like I thought I could almost reuse the synopsis that I used for the last episode.
Yeah,
but there's less to this one. This is like the hot rod version of the story. It's Cliff Notes, Salem's Lot.
Yes.
Ben Mears, our protagonist, his backstory is basically deleted.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he had a wife that died in a car wreck. They've kind of condensed that down. His parents died in a car wreck. His trauma that attaches him to the town, like and to the Marston house, just gone. He's not particular. He looks at it when he comes into town, but they never talk about, oh, I had a really traumatic experience there as a child.
Yeah, there's a lot missing, and I think a lot of that. Those were good trims. There was no need for a lot of the stuff that they included because it's not long form storytelling like a novel.
Yeah, it's much snappier. This is just like kind of like a quick little like creature feature, basically.
Yeah, definitely. This is just kind of a punchy, quick version. Vampires attack a sleepy town. I like that they didn't change the setting. It's still set in the 70s.
Yeah.
They have so many cool cars in this movie.
Yeah, they actually have the cars from the book, as opposed to the ones like he has his Citroen instead of the Jeep, and the Packard instead of the Cadillac.
Yeah, I really love all the cars. They especially like there's drive-in scenes.
Yeah,
that are just packed with amazing classic cars of the era.
And that is more or less just an invention of this movie. The drive-in as a set piece and as like a town gathering place where we can get kind of the crash course on there's a lot of dirty business going on in this town. We kind of get Susan kind of pointing at cars and saying like these people are fooling around and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it cuts out all the scenes where they showed that stuff before.
You just get the real fast. There's a lot of this looks like a nice little town, but there's a lot of shady stuff going on.
Yeah, this is not what it appears to be.
Yeah, so this is Gary Dauberman, written and directed. He does not have a lot of directing credits. This is his second film. Yeah,
it probably his last.
I don't know about that.
No, it was actually pretty good.
It's capable. It's got some moments. The thing that he's really known for is writing the adaptation. Okay. Andy Muschietti's 2-part It movie adaptation.
Well, that means he has some juice.
Yeah, and he's in this Stephen King world, which Warner Brothers is kind of all in on Stephen King as an IP generator. Mm-hmm. Like they have that new show, Welcome to Derry, which is in the It universe that's coming out here soon, and he's in that. He's in the It and Stephen King-averse of Warner Brothers.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I like that this was really kind of evocative of the previous movie, but it was its own thing for sure.
Yeah.
It seems like he made a lot of stylistic decisions, and he really went back to the book.
Yeah, and like right away, I go, this actually looks like New England. It doesn't look like California. Look it up. They filmed in Massachusetts. Not Maine, but next door.
Yeah, close enough.
The architecture looks right. You know what I mean? It's like, this feels much more northeasterny than the other one did.
Yeah, and the house looks great. I really like the set house that they have on there. And
it's so that, again, that's another choice, I think, specifically to nod towards the 79 movie, is to make it look like the house from that movie. Yeah,
it was a good decision. So, kind of talking about some of the storytelling aspects here, like, so the 79 version, because this kind of is a heads up comparison episode. I mean, you can't not. Whereas the previous one, the first one, was a really slow burn. I actually feel like this did a good job of pacing with regard to start out kind of slow, kind of it has a little bit of action right at the beginning, kind of a prologue, and then where one of the boys gets captured. And then, boom, it's slow and it builds and it's got it kind of has a novel vibe to it.
Yeah.
Without being boring.
So, like, right off the bat, they make that choice. The opening credits do a lot of exposition, like where you almost get like the Indiana Jones watching the plane fly around the map, except we're watching the coffin get shipped across the ocean from Europe.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Not the boy getting kidnapped, but the guys immediately are told, go get the coffin off the ship.
Yeah.
And then there's some action in the basement.
Yeah, and that's a kind of a rejiggering from how it is in the novel.
Yeah.
They move that forward so that the vampire arrives ahead of Ben, whereas opposed to showing up after Ben's already been there.
Yeah.
And there's like, through that opening, like the opening credits, you're getting all these sort of newspaper articles about the Marston house and everything. And they're just front loading all of that stuff. And if you're reading it, you can get some of the backstory, but they're not going to walk you through this in the movie. Like, we're not going to, we see like one scene of Ben looking at the microfiche.
Yeah.
But we don't actually ever get anyone telling us this information that is flashing on the screen. And it's efficient, like, I don't know if it's the best way to do it, but if you want to get the information out fast without having someone say, oh, that house, terrible things used to happen there back in the day. A child stealing murderer used to live there.
Yeah.
You just sort of see headlines and stuff that get those ideas across.
Yeah. And by having the first kind of the opening scene be the Straker, is that his name? The familiar of the vampire. Yeah. Having him be kind of his creepy self, really great performance.
Yeah. Tell
these guys to go get the coffin and put it downstairs, and then they drop it and it breaks it open, and Kurt Barlow seems to stir.
Yeah.
And then you immediately have this guy is in trance, like his eyes glaze over, so you immediately learn something about the vampires, like they have this power over people.
Yeah.
But he shakes it off.
Yeah, and he can do it even from inside of his coffin.
Yeah, just sort of proximity.
He doesn't even, because he's so powerful, he doesn't even need to make eye contact with you.
Yeah, I really liked how the pacing started strong, and then it didn't it teased you a little bit. You got a little tease of a vampire, and then it goes into the sleepy story. We get Ben and all of that.
And that's the classic... it's the Spielberg opening, basically, where you or Hitchcock. Like, there's lots of these. Scare them right away, and then lull them back to sleep.
Absolutely.
You have a scare real early on, and then kind of get into the groove again.
Yeah, it does kind of have that psycho vibe almost. And the town really is a character in the book and in this movie, I think despite the cutting out of all the different scenes of the drama, the infidelity, all the different things, despite cutting that out, I still feel like they're able to make this town characterful. Yeah. You kind of understand the vibe here. Everybody knows everybody. They all come together when there's a missing kid. Right. Like there's like a command center set up and there's everyone is out, the whole town. It really kind of shows you who they are, and they don't waste a lot of time on it. Yeah, it is. I don't always like this, but I think especially when you're putting them head to head, when you just watched a very slow, like a 3-hour movie. Yeah, a 3-hour version of this story. And you were looking, like, clearly they were like, how do we cut this down and still get all the ideas across? And I think they did it very well. And they kept things in that the older adaptation didn't have. Like the scene with, God, my favorite kid. What is his, why can't I think of his name? Glick, not Glick. Those are the kids that turn to vampires. Mark Petrie. Yeah, that's it. Mark Petrie and the bully, which is a great scene. He beats the hell out of it. Yeah, it's a great scene in the book, and it establishes early on what Mark Petrie's all about. And he is a little nerd of action, and I just sort of love this kid. He's like, if I ran away from that bully, he would just never stop coming after me. And so that kind of like why he's like, oh, we've got vampires in this town. I need to go kill the head vampire. We need to take care of this business now. Yeah, and he's just such, like, for whatever reason, he's such a no nonsense, like to the point kid. And I think that scene really sets that up early on, and it introduces us to the teacher, who's a major player in the story, and I think they actually handle that better than the old adaptation does. Who they make Mark into like drama kid that wrote the school play. And it's like, sure, he's a drama kid, he's a nerd for sure, but he's one that like beats up his bully and kills vampires. I like this version of Mark Petrie quite a lot. He's really good. I think that they're really good at establishing a gothic atmosphere in this movie. This is definitely more of a gothic horror. I guess the other one was a gothic horror. It was, but there's more. This one is more gothic aesthetically. Yeah, like it's darker and vibier. Sort of more sinister. Kind of that atmosphere. They really are able to keep it feeling classic, like an old, like a period piece. Not a Victorian period piece, but the 70s, and somehow convey that sort of dreary, dreadful, gothic vibes. It's pretty good. Yeah, and so I think thematically, there's less here than we had in the earlier adaptation. I feel like all the sort of like undercurrents of homophobia towards Straker and Barlow, that's out entirely. No one's wondering what they get up to. The sort of themes about child abuse and things like that, that's kind of out the window. You don't have like wildly age mismatched couples. There's not a lot of that. But the one theme I did sort of notice was the decline of small towns. Like it gets remarked upon, this town was already dead before he got here. And I don't think that was really something that the first film was touching on at all. And I think that this movie's much more concerned with that, the idea of he can come to this town and take it over because it's already undead. Yeah, for sure. Like in the modern day, we've had this as kind of a cultural issue, like the hollowing out of America, how it's just everybody concentrates on the coasts and in the metros because there's no work anywhere else. And but in the 70s, that wasn't really a thing. It's just beginning, really. Yeah, it wasn't sort of something people were as concerned about. Yeah, it's an interesting thing because you already used the word period piece.
the first movie was contemporary. It was contemporary to the novel, and now it has become a period piece by being, 30 years later or 40 years later.
And interestingly, I feel like this period piece captures the 70s a little bit better because everything is so intentional.
Yeah. Well, because that was the 70s evoking the 40s, really, because it was trying to harken back to like Universal monster movies.
Yeah, for sure. And this one, the 2024 version, wasn't trying to do that. It was trying to evoke the 70s. It was trying to make a nice kind of creature feature. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, interesting. And then some of the other themes, I just kind of touched on this, the nature of bullies. The vampire is the ultimate bully. He's bullying the town.
He's converting. He's more like a cult leader.
He's saving this dying town.
Yeah, exactly. He's granting them immortality.
He's like, the mill closed, but blood is always on the menu.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then the conflict between faith and science.
Yeah,
is something they kind of highlight on with the doctor and with the priest.
With the priest and him losing his faith and all of that. And it's interesting.
And that, I think, because that's another scene it's one of the iconic scenes of the old adaptation, having the vampire talk and having the device of the cross glowing.
Yeah.
Really gets across what's going on in that scene in a more clear way than the 79 adaptation, where you're like, why'd the cross stop working? It's like this one, you make it clear, like the vampire basically won his intimidation check on him, psyched him out, and his faith wavered.
Yeah, he just basically says, I know you're not a man of faith, and boom, it's over.
Yeah, he's like, sad to see someone's faith fail them.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So do you want to move on to the visuals?
Yeah, let's talk about visuals.
So they stuck with the look of evil with both Barlow and Straker. They both look similar to the 79 movie in that Straker is kind of a, he's got a really snappy look, kind of a European vibe. Doesn't fit in here in Salem's Lot. And Barlow is a straight up Nosferatu.
Yes, he's definitely, there's no mistaking it. He's bald, rat-fanged,
pointy ears.
Classic Nosferatu.
Yeah, I really like these two characters. The way they looked were probably the best looks in the show.
And since you're talking about that, the special effects makeup designer is Justin Raleigh. He's got a lot of creatures under his belt, and just a little bit I read, he was very stoked to get the Salem's Lot call. He's like, oh yeah, I've got a take.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
he's like, I know who that is, and I've got my version of it.
Oh, I bet you if you're a special effects guy and you do horror stuff, you definitely know who Kurt Barlow is.
Yeah, you've studied the classics and everything, and you're like, here's how I would do it. Yeah. And art direction is by Paul Richards, costume design by Virginia Johnson, production design by Mark Fischella. I mentioned this just a little bit ago. Another like aesthetic choice this movie makes is the glowing crosses.
Yeah.
Which that comes from the book, and it's maybe they did it a little bit in the 79 with they would show the holy water glowing.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a good way to make the crosses glow. Whereas this one, clearly they just are like illuminated. They have LED lights.
Yeah, they're plastic and they have bright ass LEDs.
But it works really well. And so it becomes like a signal the vampire's close when the cross lights up.
Yeah.
And just like, I think it's just very effective. And when when it's in the dark and the cross is really the primary light source, that looks really cool.
Yeah, when you only see the victim and the vampire's face by the light of the cross between them, that does look really cool. I think that the lighting and the heavy use of shadows is really cool, because during the day the town is lit in like a really warm kind of idyllic daylight. It feels really good. But all the nighttime scenes, they add like a blue-hued light to everything, and it feels cold, and it just feels really sinister.
Yeah, and the cinematography is by Michael Burgess, and I think it's one of the standouts of the movie is the cinematography.
Absolutely, it looks really good.
Yeah, it's super like it's got its own vibe. That makes me like look up like what other movies has this guy shot, because he knows his way around a camera and he knows how to make stuff look creepy.
Yeah, for sure. I just liked how it was very clear, like, oh, we just got to make it to the day, and then the day comes and it's warm and beautiful and bright again, and it wasn't just, oh, the sun rose, we're done now, but it's like the entire scene changed, and so it feels really good.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. I had this feeling that somehow they fuck around all day until it's half an hour to sundown.
Absolutely.
Every single
just a wasted day.
Just every single day, it's always like almost sun. We need to hurry up and do this because we only have 30 minutes of sunlight left, and we've just been dicking around, sleeping in, and like we haven't been getting down to business until it's almost sundown, and now we need to go hunt vampires.
Except for Mark, he's prepping and scouting, and like he's good to go.
Yeah, Mark. I mean, Mark just goes off on his own. I'm going to go kill the vampire. The very next day after being visited by a vampire.
Yeah, vampire kid shows up at the window. He's like, well, all right, got to get some work done.
Yeah, I'm going to go make steaks and go out and kill a vampire.
Yeah, he knows you got to do your scouting in the day.
Yeah, he's the best kid. Mark Petrie is the very best kid.
Yeah, one of the other things I liked about the way that they treated the vampires was not only when they were floating, which I think they did really good. The floating vampires look really good, but also when they're on the ground, the vampires move differently. They do a good job making them feel like they have kind of an unnatural grace. And you can kind of tell after they get the bite and then they're kind of alive and they still feel sick. They feel sick and all of that. But once they fully turned and their flesh has become pallid, then they stop moving like they did. They are very dancer-like. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's very well done. Yeah, and you see that with our little boy, Danny Glick. The first one to get turned. He's sick because, again, everyone gets diagnosed with anemia, and he's in the hospital, and he kind of comes out of his coma and rips open his IV bag and tries to drink the blood before he dies and turns. It's just really cool imagery, like very evocative.
Absolutely. And even though I generally don't think that kid vampires would be very scary, and it was a complaint about the last one, I think Danny Glick was actually better in this one. He's a better kid vampire.
A better actor.
And just a better treatment.
Yeah, better performance. I think... kid vampires are tragic, is what they are. They're not inherently scary. It's just like an eternity as 11-year-old is just, that's unconscionable to do to someone. That just forever, and so many vampire stories though do deal with that, like Interview with Vampire, Near Dark. The little kid vampire is a reoccurring theme.
Yeah. I mentioned it before, kind of. I feel like they used this movie almost had two lives. Like during the day, it felt like a 70s period piece, and at night, it felt like a modern horror movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if they changed frame rates or if it was just the way it was cut.
Yeah.
But it felt like certain parts of the movie felt retro, and then other parts of the movie felt super modern.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree with that, and you might be right in it being different frame rates that just sort of like we're in real, like natural light, realistic people time, and then we're in heightened gothic scary time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought that was really cool how they used the camera work, and they used cues of how the movie shot to make you feel certain ways.
Yeah.
I guess that's just good filmmaking.
It is. And it's like I was refreshing my memory. The cinematographer Michael Burgess, he hasn't been director of photography on very many movies. He's got a lot of camera operator credits on big movies like Logan. He's a camera operator.
Nice.
But again, like sort of like Dauberman, he hasn't had that many at bats yet, and I think he'll get a lot more and get a lot better. Yeah. He's a bright future, I think, for both of them.
Yeah, I wonder what he does next. That'd be good to know.
Probably another Stephen King thing, because that seems to be what's buttering their bread at the moment.
It's kind of like once you're in the Adam Sandler world, you just do Sandler flicks,
and you can't argue with the money. You know what I mean? So it's like, the Sandman is paying you. If you're on that King teat, you just keep it going till it runs out of milk.
And it's not going to. He has so many books,
and he writes fast. Yeah. Well, we're trucking along. Why don't we get onto audio? As the original music by Nathan Barr and Lisbeth Scott. I was listening to the score today. It's a banger. It's a good score. It makes me think of sort of like a mashup of like a Junkie XL type modern electronic score with God, what's the guy that did the score for the Omen? Jeffrey Goldstein, I think. Because it has all those choral elements. Like, it's very sort of 70s horror, occult horror vibes with modern production. Yeah,
it's weird because in the 70s movie, they tried to evoke a classic Warner Brothers monster flick, and so you got that classic symphonic kind of bombastic. Whereas in this one, they did the we want kind of a 70s almost doomy occult, really cool soundscape, and I think it works better for this story.
Yeah, and it's Jerry Goldsmith that did the score to The Omen. Since I got that wrong, I was in the.
It was Gold something.
I got the J Gold something. Yeah. I like that, and I like the modern elements of it too. Like when I say electronic, that give you the wrong idea. It's not a synth score. It's not.
Although I really like synth scores.
Yeah, I do too. But it's not Reznor and Atticus Ross, right? Like that's kind of what you think of, I think, when you think about an electronic score. It's not that. It's like a classical score executed electronically.
Yeah, I think that the score to this movie was really good, and it was more subtle. It didn't punch you in the face. It kind of served the movie a lot better. Yeah,
it's vibey, and there's some needle drops. We got the Gordon Lightfoot Sundown, both at the opening and the closing of the movie. Yeah, and that song gets stuck in my head. Like you don't get any cool points for Gordon Lightfoot, I don't think, but it is sort of undeniably catchy folk rock of the 70s.
Yeah, I liked that. I liked them including that period music.
Yeah.
I liked that they used silence quite a fair bit. Yes. Like, there's a lot of time when there's just no music and you just might hear a little bit of sound, like a little bit of wind. Yeah. Maybe there are some dogs in the distance. You hear a bark. And it's just, it becomes eerie. It builds tension. Yeah. And then something happens, and you had been like kind of lulled into a calm. Right. It was very, very cool.
The sound design by Sean Garnhart and Lawrence Zipf. It does. I would agree with what you said. They use silence really effectively. I feel like, and I don't know if I'm remembering this right or not. Like, it feels like Barlow can suck all the sound out of a room. Like there'll be sort of like mood music playing and like just sort of like you say, like the sort of ambient noise of the woods or of the house or whatever, and then Barlow shows up and it goes dead quiet. And
it's like his very presence dampens everything around him.
Yeah, and so it works really well. Again, sort of showing us how powerful a presence he is without anyone saying, like, dear God, he was able to control the sound or something like that.
It became silent when he came by.
Yeah, like you don't have to, like, they don't explain it, but you just feel like, God, when that guy comes in, it's a whole bad vibe.
Yeah. So a thing I noticed on this was the Marston house. It had like an unnerving kind of low frequency humming, buzzing ish, kind of nervy creaks and things. It kind of made that place feel like it was its own thing, like it was just sort of a haunted, evil living place.
Yeah, and again, they don't tell us that; they just show us that through things like that, like through the sound design. Yeah, I think that is effective. That is still a house you would get the heebie-jeebies from just looking at.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to buy that place.
Yeah, well, actually, I do always sort of think, except for the nightmare it is to do anything to a giant Victorian mansion. Yeah. Like heating and cooling them, nightmare. Getting all of like the pests out of it, like bats, rats, all sorts of things.
Yeah, if it's a period place. Yeah. But I bet you if you had new construction and you said, I want it to look like a Victorian place a la Psycho or Salem's Lot, they could design you up something good.
Yeah, that's very rich weirdo behavior.
Well, we all aspire to be rich. We're already weirdos.
Yeah, you're like, I would like you to build me a classic haunted house. I've always kind of the Munsters house has always kind of been the one I wanted to live in.
Well, I mean, if we're getting down to that, Castle Grayskull.
Yeah. Yeah, just people come outside to open the drawbridge.
Yeah, that would be my jam.
All right, I think we're on to performances.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of the meat and potatoes of this movie because, we've talked about the plot quite a bit, but also they cut so much. It's really just about how they executed the performances.
Yeah. It is lean, to the bone, cut to the bone.
We got Lewis Pullman as Ben Mears, kind of the writer, the star of the movie, sort of. It's an ensemble cast, but he's sort of the protagonist.
I like Lewis Pullman as an actor generally. Mm-hmm. I think this Ben Mears, you thought the Ben Mears from the old one was dull. I think this one is even more dull than that one.
So I sort of agree that he's dull, but he's better. So he's equally.
He feels like more of a real person.
So he's equally as boring, but he's the right age. He's not like a 40-year-old actor saying he's 26.
Yeah.
He seems like he's close to the right age. He also seems he has the right vibes for the character. He's not a Chad. He's a dude with kind of a longish, kind of hippie-ish haircut, and he's like a nerdy-ish guy, but he's got a little bit of riz,
Just a little bit. Susan actually has the more riz.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Even though she screws up in the beginning, she fixes it. But I think that this was a good performance where it seemed like he was probably directed not to be bombastic.
Yeah.
Be chill. You're a low-key dude.
Yeah. And a little insecure. Like, like he sort of, because we have the same or a similar version of the scene where he sees Susan reading his book.
Yeah.
And he comes in and Susan kind of, she's a little wishy-washy on the book. And that just sucks all the wind out of his sails as far as like flirting with her. Mm-hmm. Like he was going to be like, oh, you like that book? Look at the back cover. And she's like, yeah, I could take it or leave it with this book. And he's like, most people feel that way about my books.
Yes, he should have seriously been been like self-deprecating, like you have some seriously bad taste in literature.
Yeah. What
a hack. Like he got it. He's got to do better.
Yeah. And so we're already talking about her, Mackenzie Lay as Susan Norton. Mm-hmm. I like this version of Susan.
She's good.
I like old Susan, but this Susan is just a little more of a modern girl.
Yeah, she's a little more, a little more confident. She's a little more kind of her own person.
And she's involved the whole time. You know what I mean? Like she goes with them on everything. It's not like a Susan is left behind while the men go to work sort of thing. I think it's a good enough performance.
Yeah, they kind of fixed the sausage party problem this movie had by making the role of Susan bigger, and then making casting Dr. Cody as a woman.
Yeah.
So they were really able to make this a lot more, a lot less just a bunch of dudes doing stuff.
Yeah, and you mentioned it already with Mark, that they made him black and his family black, and they did the same thing with Dr. Cody. They made Dr. Cody female, and they made her black.
Yeah.
And cast the great Alfre Woodard, who is always a delight in everything.
Yeah, she's like, when I saw her, I was like, oh, they got a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good actress. They could have really done a crappy job, but they got someone with, I guess you can believe is a serious, knowledgeable professional.
Mm-hmm. And the right kind of person that is a skeptic that can be convinced. Mm-hmm. You know, when shit goes to, oh shit, we really are dealing with vampires, she does adapt to it. And you get the scene where she like cleans her own wound and gives herself a rabies shot after getting bit, and is sort of like, I don't know, it's as close as we've got. There's not vampire shots.
Yeah, she does a good job of being simultaneously authoritative but also human and grounded. So I thought that was one of the better performances.
Yeah.
We got John Benjamin Hickey as Father Callahan. Yeah. And this is a pretty darn good performance as well.
And he's such a major character in the book that doesn't have much to do in the 79 adaptation.
Yeah.
He just gets one scene. And I think we get better Father, more representative Father Callahan action in this one. As he's not old, but like a middle-aged priest that's not part of the young generation, the more modern generation. He's still attached to the old ways. But he's developed a bit of a drinking problem.
Yeah, and he's got a crisis of faith. Like, he's not really sure if he believes or not. And you can tell he's not sure if he kind of wasted his life. Like, he threw it all away. He could have done anything. He could have been a family man. He could have been a professional. But no, he's a priest.
Yeah, and I mean, my interpretation of it would be not that he doesn't have a crisis of faith in God as much as he has a crisis of faith in himself as a priest.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like, it's not that he doesn't believe God can protect him when he's face down with Barlow. He doesn't believe that he can channel the power of God.
Or that he's worthy of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so it is, we don't get, again, all that much time with him, but I think he gives a really strong performance.
Yeah, I think that was another one, kind of like Dr. Cody, where it was a solid member of the community that's just, does a good job.
Yeah, and everyone kind of knows he's got a little bit of a drinking problem, and it's just sort of like, he's a good priest. We all like him, but sometimes he has to sleep it off in the drunk tank, and we just kind of hush it.
Yeah.
And go about our business.
Yeah, the sheriff is covering.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, He's like, I wanted to take you back to the refectory or whatever he calls it wrong. He says, but you insisted on coming here. So I got next Bill Camp as Matthew Burke. Yeah. This is... they changed his name in the 79 adaptation, called him Jason for some reason.
Huh.
But I think this is, are we saying too often that it's one of the strongest performances? I think that he has one of the strongest.
I think it's a good performance. I think it's on the level of the other character actors with middle level roles. I just think it's a good.
He's the Van Helsing of our party.
Yeah, they found kind of a cadre of veteran actors to portray the the credible pillars of the community. Yeah. And they all did a good job.
Yeah, because of like what we think when we see these people, even if you don't know these guys' names, the actors' names, I mean, when you see Alfre Woodard, you sort of know the energy she has.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, I get it. She's a solid lady that doesn't take any shit.
But she's also somebody's grandma, and she's good at it.
Yeah, exactly. And you just sort of, your perception of these people does some of the heavy lifting, since they're not going to get a lot of characterization.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole deal with, like, stereotypes, when they're like, I want someone that looks like X. You know, they're casting because you can say so much with the way you just look and carry yourself. Nonverbal cues go so far.
Yeah.
And so, you know, casting these people that have that kind of inherent gravitas just to their presence in a scene, you know, that's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you don't just get rando old guy off the street. It's because these people, they have it.
Right.
Whatever it is.
And when you go against type, that also sets the audience up, and you can subvert them. Yeah. So like when you watch like a movie like Knives Out, and you have Chris Evans as the bad guy of the story, and you go, well, that's Captain America. He's obviously a good guy. And then it's like, oh, he's the murderer? The fuck? Like Captain America can't be the murderer. So like, yeah, that it works both ways, and it's good when used effectively. Next, Jordan Preston Carter as Mark Petrie, the hero of the story.
Yeah, probably the coolest person in the movie.
You know, at the end of the movie, when they get in the car together, and they're going to go off into the sunset, this new man and boy team taking on the world.
Vampire hunters.
Yeah, and I think this poor kid, this is not the life that he chose. Like, my family is dead. Everyone I know is dead. I'm on the run with this guy I met yesterday. He's not the most capable guy. I feel like the grown-up in the car.
I mean, but ostensibly Ben can provide. Like, he has a really nice car. He's a successful actor.
Writer, yeah.
Right, yeah, writer. They're not going to go hungry.
Yeah.
You know, it should be all right.
I think if he had his choice, he'd rather have his family back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it's better than some other choices, you know.
Could be worse.
Yeah, Ben's not terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Jordan Preston did a great job in this. I thought that the character was fun. We both really liked the character, and the performance was credible. You believe he's a kid, and he does a good job.
Yeah, he remembers that he has glasses. I like. I don't know. I'm so enamored with this kid. I like when he flees the house and shuts himself up in the treehouse because he's like, I've created a new space that they need to gain entry to.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I like that scene too, because when it pans out and there's just vampires all around in the tree and stuff, you're like, oh damn.
Yeah, and that's another thing from the book that the older adaptation didn't bother with, that all of the kids, including like the school bully and everything, get turned into vampires.
Yeah.
And just a mob of bully vampires is an awful thing to a little kid bully vampire.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that scene. I thought that was a great scene.
Well, on the subject of little kid vampires, we got Nicholas Crovetti as Danny Glick.
Yeah, and he was the best kid vampire.
He is such a sad little boy. Like,
what have I seen him in? Like, I swear I've seen
The Boys. He's Homelander's kid.
That's it, definitely, because that show is really good.
Yeah, and he's a sad kid in that show too.
Yeah, he's really good at kind of looking morose.
Yeah, like he's a sweet kid with the weight of the world on his shoulders. Yeah. He's got that down. And yeah, it's sad. And when he gets staked, it's proper sad. Like, it's like, oh, I was sort of rooting for Danny in a weird way to make it through this, even though no one is going to make it through.
Yeah, I liked that performance. He did a really good job, and he was just very convincing. Yeah.
And then so other important ones. Pilo Aspic as Richard Straker.
Yeah, this one for me was one of the best performances in the movie. I think that he was just extremely eccentric and just really, really good.
Yeah. Super creepy. Like the whole thing where he pulls up in the Packard and wants to give the Glick boys a ride home.
Yeah.
So scary. Like, just like, that's every kid's nightmare. This weird creep rolls up and like get in my car.
I was like, you don't ride with Euron Greyjoy?
Yeah.
That's not a
the
thing.
Crow's eye.
That's not a thing. He'll cut your tongue out.
Yeah. He's a bad man. We all know this.
Yeah, he plays like an eccentric, charismatic villain in Game of Thrones, and he's an eccentric, charismatic villain.
Yeah. You know, like a real subtle moment you can miss really easily is you see him sort of schmoozing Susan's mom, who ends up becoming his replacement. She becomes the familiar after he gets killed because Mark Petrie, boy on a mission, brains him over the head with a pipe.
Yeah, brutal.
Yeah. And I like that he goes in for the kill.
What a hell of a downgrade for familiar. Damn, like I used to have this like cool European dude who's like slick and smooth, and now I've got some like I don't know, like frumpy old lady with a shotgun.
A frumpy old lady with a shotgun who she really is just susceptible because the old familiar was priming her to get eaten.
Yeah.
It's like, he did the legwork on this one, and I'm in a pinch.
Yeah, she'll be a meal down the road when he finds
a better familiar
new striker.
Yeah. Which that brings up an interesting question about the role of familiars. Like, so if you think about like what we do in the shadows, Guillermo I love Guillermo. He wants to be turned into a vampire. That's the whole reason he's being a familiar. Mm-hmm. It feels like in the world of Salem's Lot, being a familiar is a better role than being a vampire.
Than like a I guess you'd call him a lesser vampire.
Yeah, or a vampire spawn.
Yeah, vampire spawn. I think spawn is the best way to call him. But yeah, I think being the familiar is the better role. Although the spawn are way tougher, more powerful.
But the familiar is more strong than a normal person.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of reminds me, it's like in the various Dracula movies and stuff, you know, like whenever you have a Renfield type character, he's kind of a familiar, but he wants to be a vampire.
Yeah. But does Straker want to be a vampire?
I don't think so.
Is he jealous of everyone getting turned into vampires?
I think he's just good with what he's doing.
He likes it. Yeah. Yeah. And then there is also the thing that they both serve the Lord of Flies, Beelzebub, right? That sort of gets hinted at and not talked about that much. Where it seems like maybe different. The power comes from the Lord of Flies, maybe, and not Strike. Barlow. I don't really know.
It just comes from the devil.
Yeah, or a devil.
Yeah,
Beelzebub's not the devil. He's one of several.
It depends on the mythology, but yeah.
I mean, like in was it Dante's Inferno or Paradise Lost? Which one is?
I think Paradise Lost.
Yeah, he's one of the princes of hell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wish they would. Stephen King would put out like some lore on Salem's Lot. Give us more lore.
Is there a Stephen King? Because I know it is all kind of a shared universe. Is there like a Stephen King encyclopedia
that
explains the rules of all this and how it connects to the Dark Tower? And
oh man, that would be crazy.
Yeah, because the Dark Tower is in another plane, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know a lot about Stephen King, but I know it's all connected. Who do we have next?
I mean, Alexander Ward as Kurt Barlow.
Yes.
He does a great job. He's a really good vampire.
That's a super creepy vampire. And his IMDb, it's all monsters and aliens and like.
Yeah, this dude is he does live play Vampire the Masquerade on Twitch with the White Wolf people. He's like a big time nerd, and if you're like an Alexander Ward fan, you can catch him playing vampire role playing games.
Because I saw several Vampire the Masquerade things on his IMDb, and I assumed that was like the TV show or something.
I think it's probably the live play stuff that he does on Twitch for. There's like some various media companies that do this stuff, but yeah, he's been hired and
and does he plays a Nosferatu vampire?
I haven't watched it. I tend not to watch the vampire live play stuff just because it's not my jam.
Okay.
I like to play it. I don't really like to watch it.
You don't watch?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's hard to watch people being spooky around a table when you're not part of it.
When you're not being part of it.
It's better when you're watching people be silly and funny because you can laugh,
I can see that. It's a serious game and therefore less fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. He is a good vampire, no doubt.
Yeah, he looks awesome. And the acting, the physical, it's a very physically like it's a demanding role. His movements, his posturing, how he's nonverbal with his mouth. He's like, just got his mouth open. He's kind of hissing, and I don't know. This is just an awesome vampire performance. This is better than the old Kurt Barlow.
Yes. I think he emotes more. He does more acting.
He's not blue.
He's not blue. I think that though that is what the blue lighting is sort of a nod to.
Yeah.
He's often kind of cast in blue, but he's like sort of like that sort of
kind of veiny white, pale,
like the color of like when you turn over a log, those fat grubs.
Yeah.
He's kind of that color, like something that doesn't get a lot of sun.
I think the blue light is just letting you know it's cold as hell. Kind of like when they touch the one person and he in his bed and he's really cold after he's dead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's since you mentioned him, that's Spencer Treat Clark as Mike Ryerson, the gravedigger.
I liked that.
Way better than Juliette Lewis's dad in the other movie. This is the better Mike, and like he gets to do a little bit of acting, like when he's sort of dissociating in the bar in the corner, like he's sitting there with his undrank beer and his eyes rolled back in his head, just sort of groaning, and the Mr. Burke goes over and is like, Mike, and he kind of like his eyes come back like he was just like, sorry, I was getting a message from the, from the vampire lord with Beelzebub. He was like, I don't feel good. I think I got sick. It's like, you look sick. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. It's a bit character, but I mean, it's good. I mean, we got William Sadler as Parkins Gillespie?
Yeah, the sheriff.
Yeah.
I did not recognize him at all as William Sadler, the Grim Reaper from the Bill and Ted movies.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just, like, he showed up and I thought, I brought with me my prejudice from the last movie. I was like, I hate this guy. And it didn't occur to me, he's one of my favorite guys until I was like, wait a minute. That was William Sadler in a goofy wig and a sheriff outfit. Again, he's a do-nothing sheriff. Just hassles people.
Bugs off as soon as shit gets bad.
Yeah, which fair play is probably the right move.
That is the right move. He lived. The rest of the town died.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to know anything about vampires. Like, and he's like, it's vampires, just like comic books. That's not what.
Yeah, the lawman dies in all those comic books.
Yeah, he's like, no way, you do it, not me. Gets out of there. Yeah. You already mentioned Deborah Christopherson as Ann Norton, frumpy old lady with a shotgun, who becomes the pinch hitter familiar for Barlow. And then like the other Glicks, and
there's a lot of tiny roles, but I think we covered all the big ones.
Yeah, we can skip over them.
Yeah.
Let's get on to the personal highlights. What's your personal highlight?
It's actually what it probably should have been in the last one, when Danny Glick shows up at Mark Petrie's bedroom window.
Oh,
I really liked that scene. That was really cool. It's iconic for this film. You have to have that scene.
Yeah, it's one of the main ones.
And it was good. It was great. In fact, I thought that scene was cool. It was really well done for both of these child actors to be, I don't know. It was just a heavy scene, but it was also really like riveting. I was like, oh, what's going to happen? You know, and I love the sound design and all of that. It was really well done. What about you? What was your personal highlight?
First, I want to agree with you. Like that is a really good one, and I like how Mark swears to free Danny too. He's like, I'll kill the vampire lord and free you. I swear.
Yeah.
Like he's so.
And
dramatic.
then later on, he's like, I swore it.
Yeah. I made a vow. So my personal highlight is the Glick kids walking home through the woods.
Oh, that was really good.
And it's, to me, it was really evocative of the Night of the Hunter, which is a noir thriller from the 50s.
Yeah.
And it also has two little kids kind of being stalked in it. And it's just shown in silhouette. And the camera it's like a voyeuristic camera angle where we're watching these kids from the woods. And it's sort of twilight, and the sky is blue and pink, and it's really beautiful.
It's like over the shoulder of the predator.
Yeah, and it's the creep's eye view on these kids, and they're just walking home.
That's like Friday the 13th.
Yeah, but better. Yeah. And all of a sudden, like the camera does sort of like, it moves weird in the woods, and then Straker's right behind and grabs Ralphie. And
poor Ralphie, that's a cursed name.
Yeah. And then, and Danny has no clue what happened, right? His brother just disappears. And just like the way the whole thing is shot is so stylized and cool, and the way the camera moves is so unique. And I just think it is just it's one of the most, I think when this version of the movie gets talked about, this will be one of the iconic scenes, is that sort of profile silhouette of the two boys with the pink and blue sky behind them.
It was really good directing and cinematography for sure.
Yeah. And then Straker grabbing him. And I mean, and we can extend that out to like putting him in the bag with the one eye hole. And like, which you saw him sort of testing earlier, like looking through the eye hole where he's like, oh yeah, this would be very scary over a little bit. Yeah, good, bad villainy and good visuals.
Absolutely.
What worked for you?
So I liked the pacing. I like that it gets right to business. This is a movie about vampires doing vampire stuff in a creepy old town. Yeah. And they're straight up. And I like that. I think that having all the character drama be like the beneath the iceberg, it's all under the water, and you can tell that there's a lot going on beneath the surface, and all of these characters have relationships, and we get little glimpses of it here and there, but we don't need a scene example for every one of those little things just to set up that person being trivially murdered by a vampire.
Yeah, let's go and spend 15 minutes with every person in the car in the drive-thru.
Yeah, God. So yeah, I thought that was really good. And then I also thought that the vampires themselves looked really great. Like the vampire spawn, all of them looked excellent. They went through a metamorphosis of death, and then they became a vampire, and they looked really cool. I liked them a lot when they all became vampires. But then, of course, Barlow himself, he looked amazing. Like this Barlow is way better than the old Barlow in appearance. I mean, obviously,
a lot of that's technology.
Technology and everything has improved. And I know that the original Barlow, he couldn't really move a lot because like the prosthetic stuff would fall off.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. Just taking it on face value, this Barlow is really good. It's not to the level of like modern Orlok.
Yeah.
But It's really good. So I like that. And then lastly, I wanted to specifically say that Pilu Asbæk is my favorite performance in this movie. I thought that in the scene that you mentioned, the whole deal where he pulls up in the Packard, and then every time he's interacting with townies, and kind of talking down to him and stuff. I don't know, just this performance was extremely villainous. It just oozed darkness. I really, really thought that that was kind of the shining standout performance for me. Okay. So what about you? What worked for you?
I'm going to echo a lot of that. My first one is the visual style, and I just kind of call out the Barlow makeup, the glowing crosses, the nighttime lighting, the glowing eyes of the vampire. It just has a really cool aesthetic to it, and it's unique. It doesn't look like any other movie. You know, like it looks like this movie, and I imagine that's going to be influential at some this movie will make an impression on people that saw this when they're a little too young for it, the way that the old one did. Yeah. I think the pacing is really good. I think Shiorochi, the editor, cut this movie to the bone and made it just like Hot Rod style. You take the fenders off, like anything that adds too much weight and slows it down is cut off and thrown out. And it is just a lean, mean movie that like zips along. And when we're just kind of coming off the slog that is the old old version of it, that feels very refreshing. You're like, oh, we're just getting down to business. This is nice.
Editor is such an unsung hero that can either make or destroy a movie.
Yeah. So I think the editing is good and effective in this movie. Yeah. And then finally, I love Mark Petrie. I think that he's the best kid. I just think he's awesome. And
we need some fanfic about what happens with Ben and Mark after this.
Reluctant vampire hunters. Yeah. In the book, Mark wants to join the church.
Oh, okay.
So like you can see him sort of becoming a kind of like anti-vampire cleric or something, I imagine, you know? Mark Petrie Vampire Hunter is totally, that could be a whole book series.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And I don't even care that the woke mind virus made him black. It doesn't. I think
it doesn't change anything about the character.
It doesn't, and like honestly, it adds like a level of depth to him, like where you're sort of like, it'd probably be hard to be the only black kid in this New England hick town.
Yeah, and like why the bully was picking on him in the first place. Yeah. He's new and he's black. He's the only black kid. And so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I think it just is more texture. Go woke, go broke, though. You know, whatever.
I mean, yeah.
So, what didn't work for you?
So contrary to my praise of how fast they cut through everything, I do feel like they should have or could have developed some of the primary characters more. It's totally fine to underdevelop all your side cast characters. Yeah. But I also feel like no character was developed at all anywhere. Like nobody had any development. We don't know about Ben. We don't know about Straker. We don't know about Barlow. We don't know about anybody. Yeah. Like you just take them at face value and that's it. But really, we should have known more about Ben. Yeah. We should have known more about like the Barlow Straker situation. Like, where are they coming from? What's happening? Yeah. You know, like, is this a thing that they've done before?
If you were coming into the movie theater with your popcorn while the opening credits were rolling, any backstory for Straker and Barlow is just a miss. Like, you just didn't get it.
Yeah, they should have done some more character development through, I don't know if it needs to be exposition, but something. Yeah. All right. And then the other thing is some of the supernatural stuff in the movie, inconsistency was weird. I thought that the taped together tongue depressor cross that glowed was cheesy and hokey.
It is all versions of it though. Like,
yeah, I also thought that the cross that was wood on the floor, which was just a moment before glowing plastic, I thought that was cheesy.
Okay.
And also, like, he revoking the invitation, that just works. Why didn't everyone always revoke the invitation whenever a vampire came in anywhere?
Well, to be fair, I think Mike was pushing his luck by using the invitation from the day before already.
Sure.
So he was just making it. He's like, "Oh no, you can't come in."
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday when you were still alive.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought that some of the supernatural stuff was a little bit extra, and I didn't love the glowing crosses. I thought they were all right, but man, it felt a little. It felt a little like hat on a hat. I don't know.
You know, there's one power of faith moment from the book that I really had hoped was going to be in this. That was when they go to the Marston house and the priest basically blows the door off of the place with the power of God. And I was like, damn, like it's a very cool moment in the book, and I thought that they were going to do it because they were doing the glowing crosses and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, our priest is going to go up there and like smite the door off its hinges.
Jesus, take the battering ram.
Yeah. And then he just opened the door, and it's like, oh, it's a little anticlimactic. I was really looking forward to the door blowing off.
Yeah, and that was pretty much it. Those are the things I thought were kind of misses.
Yeah. We've got basically the same points, both of us. I think what didn't work for me is they sacrificed depth for the brisk pace. And so all of the characters, including like the main characters like Ben Mears, are just very surface level. The backstory is either absent or just implied, and it leaves the movie feeling very light. By the end of it, you're never too deep with any of these characters. So as people become vampires, you're like, shucks. Like it's not like
darn it.
Yeah, it never like really rips your heart out like some of these should, because you're just not that attached to anybody.
I mean, I will say, like, when Susan becomes a vampire, I was like, oh
yeah,
I like Susan. And
she's one of the only characters we get. We know she went to school in Boston and came back home or whatever.
And she's kind of like a I don't know. She's got attitude. She's kind of a cool
modern
gal.
Girl. Yeah, and she's got ambitions, but her mom, like, she came back because her dad was sick, and her mom is got her under her thumb. We know a lot about Susan. Like, Susan gets a little development, and so we attach to her. Yeah, and so just.
Yeah, I kind of would have liked it if the end had, Susan made it through, and I would have liked that.
Yeah, I almost kind of thought they would go that way because they were keeping her so like front and center. But I guess it's just too key to the story that Susan has to die.
Yeah,
rough one. Anyways, I just think for brevity's sake, they made things too shallow. Final thoughts and rating. Where are we sitting on this?
So this is a tough one because Salem's Law in 1979 was a 3-star movie, and a solidly 3-star movie. It was not bad. It was just long and slow. This is better. Definitely better. But I'm not sure. It's like it's hard to put it in a 4 because I call a 4 usually like an unqualified recommend. Like, anybody should see this and you'll probably like it. It's probably pretty good. I really think this is good if you're into vampire movies. Like, it's definitely a good vampire movie. I don't know if it's a good movie, like, period. Like, just good movie, end. And so that is really hard because we don't do 3.5. We don't do 0.5s because 3.5 is just where, like, so many movies would land. It just is not cool.
We took that crutch away from ourselves.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and just give it a 4 because...
Ooh, okay.
Because of the strength of the character actors that they had play the supporting cast, the characters I really liked were all really good, and I can't really come up with lots of reasons why I didn't like it. I know it's not great. it's just good.
Yeah.
So what about you?
We're very much in the same boat, except for I got off the fence on the other side. I went down to a 3, but I was sort of feeling 3.5 about it.
Yeah, I was definitely feeling 3.5.
And I was just like, I think I wouldn't even say necessarily that it's better. It's just an easier watch because it's so quick paced and cool looking. And
I think
everything.
it's definitely better.
Yeah, I think it does some things better and other things not as well. But I fully liked it. Like I enjoyed it. It just,
I mean, but we're vampire movie people.
yeah. I thought that was a fun monster movie. That was the sense I came away from this with. But you know, it's not ever going to be one of the greats. It's just a pretty cool vampire movie.
I'd like to see Dauberman try his hand at Lost Boys or something.
Yeah. Well, let's not lock him in the vampire ghetto, but also, yes, I think he would be a great choice for that.
Being locked in the vampire ghetto is not a bad thing. There's cool movies.
This whole movie is about escaping the vampire ghetto.
That's true. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're basically right on the same page. What does the internet say?
So, I mean, the internet is definitely on your side, and I almost was a 3. I had a 3 written down until I reviewed my notes. I was like, I actually think I liked this more than that.
It's fun. I think people are a little unfair to this movie, honestly.
So Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 45%, IMDb gives it 5.6, and Metacritic gives it 47. So it's basically a 2.5 to a 3 according to the internet. I definitely think it's more than a 3.
Yeah.
It's like a 3.5 solid movie, and you know, I think our average is fine. And it's a little bit sad that this thing didn't get a chance in the theater, because I think more people would have liked it.
Yeah, coming out in spooky season in October.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, I read a few reviews on Letterboxd, and I think for like genre fans, there's a little bit of like, we put old stuff up on a pedestal and sort of look at it with rose-colored glasses, and we look very critically at modern movies and don't give them the sort of leeway that we give to older movies.
Which is kind of insane, because Nosferatu and Sinners are like 5-star vampire movies. Yeah. Ultra modern.
Right. And this isn't in that category.
It's not even in that category, but it's still good.
But it's very much in the category of like the Christopher Lee Dracula movies.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like, it's got that sort of like, it's a fun vampire movie. I think anyone listening to this podcast, like that's a regular listener.
Yeah, or if you made it this far on this episode,
you would absolutely have a good time watching this movie. And like,
yeah, Ken Barlow is really good in this movie.
When Ben stabs him through the head, and we get the
right
shot
in the mouth,
the shot from Mark looking up through Barlow's mouth and Ben looking down through the hole, like so cheesy but so amazing at the same time.
I liked all that. That was great.
Yeah, pretty fun movie. That's what I say
for sure.
Let's take a break and we'll come back with the Vault of Darkness. Before we delve into the Vault of Darkness, we ask that all initiates of the cult follow us on your favorite social media platforms at Nightshade Cult.
If you've enjoyed this content, help us grow the cult by sharing it with like-minded people, and leave us a review wherever you listen.
Do you have any dark tidings?
The Prince of Darkness has fallen.
Yes, that is what I had as well. Sadly, Ozzy Osbourne passed away. Not unexpected. He had some serious health problems that we were well aware of.
And we're recording this right after his death. So if you're hearing this a little bit down the road, understand that I guess this just happened.
It will be very stale news for the rest of the
sure, yeah. But we have to mention it. We're a spooky podcast, and he's the Prince of Darkness. So,
yeah. What is there to say? I mean, we recorded a
whole thing on
an in-depth podcast on our older podcast on Black Sabbath Paranoid, which is just I can't state how formative, seminal that album is on me, on my personal journey.
Yeah, I've been a heavy metal guitar player for my whole life, and Tony Iommi and Black Sabbath, and just the I don't know, the alchemy when they come together, because Ozzy was a key part of that alchemy. It didn't work as well without him. Not to say that the Dio albums aren't good,
fucks too,
but that alchemy is super important. That is metal. It's the genesis of metal as we know it, and Ozzy super important to that. So rest in power.
Yeah, it's a rough one, man. We'll put the link to that episode in the show notes.
Yeah.
But yeah, tough to see Ozzy go, but he went out like a champ because
he played his awesome final show sitting on his throne of darkness. And just killing it.
Set of solo Ozzy classics and a set of Sabbath songs in Birmingham, in Villa Park football stadium where they used to watch soccer games when they were kids. Well, it's a completely new stadium,
sure,
but in the same town where Ozzy and Black Sabbath come from, and you could see it. I'm sure you, like us, we've watched lots of videos from that concert. You can see it on Ozzy's face, and you can see it in the crowd. People sense the weight of this, as this is really the final performance.
It's not like Kiss doing 17 goodbye tours.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see them at the various individual members of Kiss playing at casinos. Whenever. This was the last one. So when I had the sense that the goodbyes had already been, I'd already kind of shed tears watching some of those videos. So when I got the news that he passed away, I was like, okay, yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Iommi said it. He's like, it felt like he just wanted to get that one more show, and then he was ready to go.
Yeah. So, goodbye, Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
We hardly knew you. What are you pulling out of the Vault of Darkness?
So I got a role playing game book that I got, and I think is super cool, and I think some people would like it.
Okay.
This is a book called Frontier Scum. And it is, the name is really evocative. It's
a Star Wars game set in the Outer Rim.
Absolutely. No. It's not. Although I do think that would be fun. Yeah. So this is an RPG that is a rules light game where the characters are Old West outlaws.
Okay.
The game is specifically an Acid West setting, so it's got kind of weird stuff, you can be as weird as you want or not that weird. It just depends. And so
I'm gonna Google Acid West while
this is from the open gaming license from the Stockholm Cartel, the company that does Morkborg and Cyborg.
Okay.
Those Swedish mad lads. This is, some people have called this Cowborg. It's basically a style of Morkborg, but all cowboyed up.
But you're not saying they have cyborgs in it.
No, there's a different game called Cyborg on the same system.
Right.
And they all use the same system. So you could mash them as you please. No big deal. You could play Cyborg cowboys, but the Borg comes from Morkborg.
Okay.
And so, any of the Borgs or any game like Vamborg, Viking Borg.
Gotcha.
Anyway, things I like about this game. I love that there are tables for everything. That was one of the things I liked when I was a kid, when I was reading through the TMNT and other strangeness books and everything. Yeah. I loved all the tables. Also, old D&D books like first edition and stuff, there's just tables for everything. I like that here. You can choose from the table or you can roll. Like your background, what are you wanted for? Like you're a villainous cow thief or you're an amorous murderer.
Yeah.
Like you combine these different things. And you
can randomly roll that.
Yeah, you randomly roll it, and you can roll, and you get what your bounty is based on, what you got for your crime. Like low bounty if your crime was like trespassing, but higher if it's murder. And I love that the game is extremely simplistic. It makes it easy to play. Anybody can play this game. You only have 4 stats: grit, slick, wits, and luck.
Okay.
That's all you need. If you're getting punched, you're rolling grit to see if you can take it and roll with it. If you're shooting a gun, you're rolling slick. Mm-hmm. And so it's just really easy. And you only have skills. Either you have a skill or you don't have a skill. And if you do have it, means you roll with advantage. You roll 2d20s and choose the better one. Okay. It's that easy. The game is ridiculously simple.
Okay. I was about to ask what kind of dice you use.
You use D&D dice. So guns will do like D8 damage for a rifle, and etc. Has fun little mechanics, like if you roll the max dice, like a D6, you roll a 6, you get to roll it again, and it can keep exploding. So you could be like, oh, my revolver, I shot you for 18 damage or whatever. Yeah. So it's just really cool and really fun. Also, I like horses. I play a lot of Red Dead, and your horse is a thing in this game. Like, it has a section on your sheet where you name it. It's got speed and whatnot. Not speed like as in like it moves 12 units. No, it's like it's either slow, regular, fast. Yeah. So if you're outraged, if you have a fast horse and someone else has a slow horse, you're chasing them down easy. Yeah. So I really like that. I like the things that matter when you're playing a game are there. Like, you want to know about your horse in a cowboy game. Yeah. And you want to know about your gun in a cowboy game, but you don't really need like an in-depth skill system. Like, can I pick the lock? I don't know. Is that one of the skills you got from your background? You rolled, like, you can pick handcuffs? Okay, cool. Yeah. Got it. Easy peasy. Or if you're just really high slick, you can pull it off. No problem. I like this.
What's the applicable stat for riding a horse?
So generally riding a horse is going to be wits. Okay. Because that covers kind of your brain power, your willpower, that kind of deal. Okay. And so, I just really like this game. And I like the open gaming license that the Stockholm Cartel uses, because tons of people have put out supplements for this. They're like blah blah blah, whatever the title of their supplement is, and then they're like compatible with Frontier Scum. Because it's all open gaming license. You can't lock your stuff down. If you use their gaming license, you're part of the community. So there's all sorts of cool expansions on it and stuff. Like, there was one I read called like Blood on the Trail, where like you encounter vampires. It's like becomes a little horror cowboy game, and that's somebody's supplement. All these fun little things. I thought it was really cool. The book is rad. The physical format, it's like a hardbound, sewn on the sides, but no binding. Like, it's been ripped off. It looks cool.
That's pretty cool.
So I think if you like simple role-playing games, check out Frontier Scum.
Whenever we've played games where we have like a steed or something, I'm always so afraid of my animal getting killed. It's like I never use a companion animal to its full advantage, because I'm always worried about it dying.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Right now, not to be too tangenty, I'm running a D&D game, but the game takes place inside a video game. It's like an isekai. They've all been sucked in. So like, someone bought a steed. They bought actually, it was actually Carrie. She's a halfling. So she bought a riding mastiff dog, and she like named it and everything. And then she was prompted, because it's a video game, do you want to buy pet insurance? So if it dies, it respawns at the nearest stable. Right. And she was like, of course. Now I don't have to worry. Because everyone loves their pets. Like, you can't just be like, whatever, fuck that horse. Just ride it into a gulch.
And then it's like, even if, like, say it's something that you've spent some sort of in-game whatever on, and so you get another one, or
like if it's a character feature or whatever.
And so you're going to the storyteller, game master, dungeon master, whatever, is going to have to invent a way to get you a new one after yours dies. You still, like, you've invested in that one, the first one.
You'd be glad to know in Frontier Scum, if your horse dies, you don't get a new horse. You have to steal one or buy one.
Yeah.
But you can steal like badass racehorses and stuff. Like it's like in Red Dead. You can just go
like real life.
Get like a badass horse. Yeah, it's just like real life or GTA or whatever. You just steal a Lambo.
Just steal whatever you want.
Well, you're playing an outlaw. It's understood, you know.
It's just much easier to be an outlaw in the Old West because it's you can go and reinvent yourself
and
when you get to the next
forensics aren't really a thing.
Yeah.
So what about you? What are you pulling out of the vault?
So you already alluded to this movie earlier, and I had considered putting this in the vault for our last episode, but since we're covering the same story again, Mark Petrie, the character from the book, The Best Kid Ever, puts me in mind of a movie that I loved growing up called The Monster Squad.
Oh, man.
Directed by Fred Dekker and written by Fred Dekker and Shane Black, who wrote Predator and Lethal Weapon 2 and a million great movies. The Monster Squad is Goonies versus the Universal Studios monsters. That's my elevator pitch for it. It is a pretty dated movie. They drop a lot of the F word, the gay F word. There's a lot of stuff that you're going to go, ooh, the 80s were different. But it is still just a lot of fun in the way like a kid monster movie of the 1980s would be. And I've seen this movie just a million times. Like
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Oh, what? Oh, man. I think I don't know. You might hate it. Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite is the Wolfman.
I probably would like it.
Yeah. He's a good Wolfman. They're very good monsters. Like it's this very 80s version of all the classic Universal Studios monsters.
The one Wolfman has nards?
Yeah, Wolfman's got nards.
I've seen that movie for sure.
Yeah, it's fun. It's dumb, but
it was on like cable TV
constantly.
Forever. Yeah.
It's like a whole squad of Mark Petries. Like it's the Goonies, but they're all Mark Petrie.
Yeah,
so you got the chubby one, and you got the smart one, and like you've got a squad of kids, and Dracula comes to town, and they're the only ones that kind of know what's going on. So it's like a much less serious cousin to Salem's Lot, but with more kids.
So, as an aside, because I'm a gamer at my heart, if you want to play a game like that, there's a game called Kids on Bikes.
Oh yeah.
Just if you're interested in that kind of thing,
Stranger Things, Paper Girls,
it's really Stranger Things influence. If you want to play an 80s based ensemble kids movie as a game, Kids on Bikes.
And we got, I'll tack that on there, maybe not add it to the notes, but new season of Stranger Things coming soon.
Stoked for that, dude.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome.
Well, cool.
We'd like to thank you for joining the Nightshade Cult.
Until we meet again, we're wishing you unpleasant dreams.